We are live! Fighting out of the queer corner is Creepy Uncle Nick and your host, Dylan the Villain.
That was lame. Just so you know, I'm the host and he's my analyst, my MMA analyst. He's the only guy that has MMA training. But we're going to start off this Veterans Day special again because we messed up the first one with a sad announcement of Joe Frazier dying at the age of 67 with a battle from liver cancer.
Down goes Frazier. Or
And
should I say, up goes Frazier.
He's an awesome fighter. His most memorable fight is against Muhammad Ali. Big news. Speaking of big news, you guys might remember us from last week saying something about we have a clothing line that we might be coming out with. We also said that Big Country Roy Nelson, as you can see here in this picture, is a fan of ours. He got his tattoo on it. Well, we sent some of our clothing to some of the fighters, and Czech Congo was actually nice enough to send a picture back of us wearing our athletic supporter. This is actually my athletic supporter that he's wearing. They come in smaller sizes. They're called the Dylan the Villain size. Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm glad to see you're a huge fan, Cheek Congo. That's really not Czech Congo. Just, for all, so we don't get sued. That's not Czech Congo, and we are not racist.
I am.
Yeah. Big news. Sam Stott is going against Thiago Tavares. That should be a good fight. Thiago Tavares is submission specialist, and Sam Stott is got really fucking heavy hands.
Yeah, he's probably going to want to do good since his lifelong buddy, Trump Tompkins, has died.
Yep. Edson Barboza is going to be fighting Terry Edom, who just came off of his win last Saturday. This is a dangerous fight for Carlos Condit, who's going against Josh Koscheck. Instead of getting his title shot against GSP, that was given to Nick Diaz, and now Carlos Condit gets the dangerous Josh Koscheck. This kind of seems like a lose-lose situation for him. Yeah, he might be able to beat Josh Koscheck, but it's dangerous, man. I don't know.
Yeah, both of them have good stand-up, but Koscheck has that wrestling.
Yep, and he's got heavy hands. Man, I tell you, it's dangerous. I'd feel bad if he actually lost it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to finish Koscheck.
Yeah. UFC 138 was last week, and that was a pretty good event. Usually, all the fight cards that don't have a major name on it wind up being exciting fights, and this was no exception. All of them went to finish on the main card.
Awesome.
Mark Munoz beat Chris Lieben by ass-kicking this. Chris Lieben couldn't see, and there was some big, huge cut on his eye, and Lieben said, "Oh, I had to cut 21 pounds in 24 hours. I'm tired."
Yeah.
You know what? That's not like Lieben, though, so he's a pretty tough guy. And
I respect him a lot. And Mark Munoz looked good. Now he's actually calling out Anderson Silva, his buddy,
yeah.
and Silva
And training partner.
Yeah, and Silva's like, "Whoa, I didn't know he was like this. I thought we were friends." Quote, quote.
That's gonna be like Vitor Belfort when he's like, "What is this fucking training partner? I'm gonna wear that." Brad Pickett lost to Renan Barra. Renan, or whatever the heck his name is. He actually called out Dominic Cruz after that too, which seems to be after every win you call it the champ right away. I don't get that. Thank you, Nick Diaz, for starting that trend. Thiago the Pitbull Alves beat Pepe Abadai by a submission choke. That was Thiago Alves' first submission victory, I think, ever in his career. I know it was his first in the UFC.
Yeah.
And he likes to thank his fucking hard, heavy hands for that choke. Because he started rocking him, and Papi Abadai didn't know what to do, and he said, "Hey, take my back and choke me, please, because I don't want to get hit by you anymore." It looked like he gave up his back, like he was trying to find an excuse to get out of that. That's what happens when you call out Thiago Alves for your first match. You're an idiot, Papi Abadai.
Yeah, that was not good for Abadi.
Abadi, is that what it is? Abadi?
I don't know.
Abadai.
I'm racist.
Blah, blah, blah. Terry Edom beat Edward Falacio. Falacio is one of my favorite things. Dylan doesn't know about that. So he's one of my favorite fighters. Not really. Terry Edom is awesome, and I can't wait to see him fight again.
I can't wait to see him talk again.
Yeah. Sounds like he's stuck on a helium balloon. Let's see, what was the other one? Oh, the Snake, Cyril Diabate, got his ass kicked against Anthony the Hippo Peroche. I don't know why I didn't call that one. I usually always go with the grappler when he goes against somebody, but for some reason, the stupid Diabate, I just thought he was going to win.
No.
And I'm an idiot.
Freaking the Hippo is 39 years old, too.
Yeah, I know, and he completely just destroyed him.
He looks old.
Alright, we're going to go on to our preview of UFC on Fox. This is a historic event, and it's got huge ramifications on the UFC and MMA world. If it takes off and has a great fight, you know, it can open up. This is going to get a lot of new TV screens. People who don't ever get a chance to watch it is going to be seeing it, so it could be huge. It could be like even bigger than the Griffin versus Bonner fight on the Ultimate Fighter 1. If it turns out to be boring, I think it's going to be, you know, it would be bad, but I think they're going to have a lot of time to make up for it. So, but who really thinks Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos is going to be bad? I don't ever see that happening.
Yeah.
And then,
even if you watch football, which you watch the Packers win every single time.
yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but they're 8-0.
You will see the UFC has done well with promoting the fight. Every time I watch a football game on Fox, they're always promoting the fight, and I know a lot of people are going to watch it, and make sure you watch it.
So, with our thing for UFC on Fox, we are going to start off with the heavyweight championship is on the line, as you can see here with Cain Velasquez, who's putting a knee in his hand over Ben Rothwell's fat face. Ben Rothwell, I'm just joking. You're a friend of ours, or not a friend of ours, but
He's a friend of mine.
we're a fan of yours. We're friends with you on Facebook, which makes us best friends in real life. Cain Velasquez is 9-0. His only fight that's even gone to decision was against Cheek Congo. Otherwise, they've all ended in TKO or KO. Very well rounded. His wrestling is outstanding. His striking, he hits hard. They had that sports sign on ESPN where it shows that he hits harder than any heavyweight and most boxers. It was the hardest hit that was ever measured. And his submission defense is good. He's got big wins over Brock Lesnar, Big Slow Nog, Ben Rothwell, and Chikongo. And he will be going against the very tough and dangerous
Junior Cigano, which means the Gypsy Dos Santos, and he is 13-1. He's a stand-up fighter and has wins over Shane the Carwin, Roy Nelson, Gay Gonzaga, Gilbert Evell, Crow Cop, Stephen the Sky Straight First, Sprue, and Fabricio Verdun.
Yes, his only loss is to some dork named Joaquin Ferreira, and he lost by submission, but he actually beat him before, and it said on Wikipedia by exhaustion. But Cigano is, he's a tough dude. He's got heavy hands, and he's quick. Both of these guys are quick for heavyweights. It's going to be a tough fight. I'm going to go with Cain Velasquez on this only because of wrestling. That's it. And I think he's going to be able to control the fight. He showed that his ground and pound's outstanding, man, and I think he'll be able to avoid JDS's submissions and be able to outstrike him too. I think he might be not as quick-handed, but I think he's still pretty quick, and I think he hits hard, and I think that's gonna be all it takes. The wrestling's gonna pay off.
Good points, Creepy Uncle Nick. This is one of the toughest fights I've ever had to pick. I'm going on a limb and picking JDS Junior Dos Santos.
You're gonna go against the wrestler. The wrestler's gonna go pick against the wrestler.
Dude, wrestling's for fags.
Yeah.
And I'm picking Junior Dos Santos because in his last few fights against Roy Nelson, who is not a wrestler, and Shane the Carwin, but who shows great takedown defense. But I don't want to get anything, no hard feelings with Cain, because, I don't want to fight you, and I could definitely see you winning. But I'm going with Junior Dos Santos. His power, I think Dos Santos has more power than Velasquez, but Velasquez's technique, I'd say, is a lot better. And I think I agree with you, and I think Velasquez's speed is a lot faster than Dos Santos. But this should be a freaking awesome fight. If it goes 30 seconds or 25 minutes, it's going to be an awesome fight.
Yeah, I can see Junior Dos Santos being able to knock him out. Because Czech Congo rocked
this is if Kane takes Junior down, we've never seen Junior on his back or even in really serious trouble.
Not in the UFC. In his old, which I guess matters a little bit, but in his old fights he has a couple submission victories and stuff. But
Yeah,
really, the UFC, if you're not doing it against people in the UFC, I don't want to say it doesn't count because it counts, but it's another level in there.
yeah.
Our next, if not my favorite fighter, he's such a great guy that I had to put two pictures of him on here. Clay the Carpenter Guida, all-around party guy, who is 29-8. He's a 2-1 underdog. This guy can slap a choke on anybody. He's wrestling, cardio. He's got a great chin. His stand-up is actually getting a lot better since he's been getting older. The new gorilla style that he's been doing has been working for him. He's beaten a lot of good people like Anthony Showtime Pettis, Takanarigami, Rafael dos Anjos, Shannon Gergety, and Nick Diaz. But he has losses to guys like Kenny Florian, Diego Sanchez, who I think he won, and Roger Huerta, who he was kicking his ass until he got submitted. He will be going against the very dangerous, the very silky smooth
Ben, the Smooth Henderson, and he is 14-2, former WEC lightweight champion, and has wins over Jim Miller, Mark Bocek, Donald the Cowboy Cerrone, Jamie Crybaby Barner, and Shane Roller, and has a loss to Anthony Pettis, which Clay Guida has beaten him.
Ben Smooth Henderson, who is pointing to me up in the stands after this fight, after he beat Jim Miller. Me and Dylan were there, and he's like, "Hey guys, what up?" We're up in the cheap seats. He made Jim Miller look bad. He completely destroyed him. This is a tough fight for me, man. To be honest with you, my head says pick Ben Henderson because he's hard to submit. They call him Gumby. His striking is great. His submission defense is great. He's a good fighter. But my heart is telling me to pick Clay Guida, and that's what I'm going to go with. Clay Guida, his mom told me thank you for serving the country. That's awesome. He's golden in my book. Clay Guida's stand-up might give him a hard time because he's so goofy and he's all over the place now. His wrestling will give him a hard time. And his ground and pound, his submission defense is also really good. So it's not like Ben Henderson's going to be able to submit him, too easily. And Guida's ground and pound is pretty good. Usually once he's on the ground, he's throwing these stupid hammer fists. Really, I'm going to pick Guida because he's like my favorite fighter. And he took a picture of me one time and it was magical.
Yeah, Ben Henderson's really freaking tough, especially if you saw his last fight. But during the weigh-ins of Milwaukee, he came up to me. I thought he was going to kiss me. His lips were just sticking out there. But no, he went up to kiss his mom, who was right next to me. And then I was like, "Hi, Ben." He's like, "Hey."
That's a annoying fucking story, dude. Ben, you should have kissed
So I'm picking Clay because he didn't kiss me.
That's a stupid story. You know what, though? That's a true story because it was actually there.
Yeah.
Ben Henderson could win this very easily. And it's like both these fights are real tough to call. Either one of them honestly can win.
Yeah.
I don't think Clay Guida should be a 2-1 underdog though. Guida's a bad mamma jamma. This one should be for title, the next lightweight title shot. And if not, Dana White, I don't like you anymore. If you don't give Clay Guida, that's it. He deserves it. Man,
his movement's so good. He loves being the underdog. I know that because he's probably told me, but he hasn't really told me. But I think he's an awesome fighter. I love him. I would love to.
I like his hair.
Yeah.
I just want to. If he could cut me off a lock of his hair and send it to me, I would wear it right here.
Yeah.
All the time.
That's really cool.
Yeah. No, it's not as cool as Clay's.
Looks like he.
See, I don't know if you can see right back here behind Rocky. That's Clay sitting there looking at us. I love you, Clay. But that is it for the Creepy Villain MMA show for the Fox special.
Wait. When I was at Uncle Nick's house, Creepy Uncle Nick, for UFC 138 Nick Diaz versus BJ Penn, Uncle Nick did something really bad to me, so I'm going to do it to him.
balls.
He hit me in the balls and that sucked.
Wait. Alright. That was a vagina hit, by the way. Join us on the Creepy Villain MMA show on Facebook. Please feel free to post comments and join our discussions and stuff like that. Supposedly we might be getting a website. We'll see if we actually get that huge. Who knows? I don't see that happening though. And then we are going to be going to the North American Grappling fights with Duke Rufus. I don't even know if I said that right, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Sergio Pettis. I tried being his friend on Facebook, but he denied it. Like, seriously, man? Really?
We have a website show, you know, come on.
Yeah.
And then right after that, next week we're going to be doing an episode for Dan Henderson.
That is an awesome card.
Yes, it is. I cannot wait to do
Miguel Torres is on the Facebook fights.
Oh, this is a former champion who's on Facebook. This card is stacked.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do it. And we might actually, I've been trying to work up an interview with a U.F.C. fighter. And so I'm going to see if I can get that worked out so that we can have an interview with a UFC fighter. See you later. Bitches, happy Veterans Day.